Let's talk about choosing an ISP. An Internet Service Provider, or ISP, is the service that provides access to the Internet from our small network. The two most common options are cable. In other words, the same services that provide cable television can also provide Internet service, or DSL. First, we'll talk a little bit about cable. Internet access through the cable company is typically faster than DSL. The theoretical max for both DSL and cable is extremely high, but the services commonly offered don't go anywhere near the theoretical max. Both the cable company and the DSL company should clearly advertise their speed, so it should be fairly straightforward to determine which one is faster. Cable is available in more areas. The availability of DSL is limited to small geographic regions, whereas cable is available almost everywhere. Many cable systems are set up with some type of shared bandwidth, where a certain amount of bandwidth is delivered to a neighborhood, and that bandwidth is shared amongst everyone in the neighborhood. So in other words, if your neighbors are using an awful lot of bandwidth, it may deteriorate how much bandwidth you have. Before subscribing to a cable internet service, I would be sure and check with the company about do they provide dedicated bandwidth or shared bandwidth. DSL stands for Digital Subscriber Line. It comes in a variety of speeds. The speed you actually receive is inversely proportional to your distance from the provider. The longer distance the signal has to travel, the more it deteriorates and it gets slower. So if you are very close to the provider, you will probably get excellent speed. However, if you're farther away from the provider, you might get a reduced speed. And if you're significantly far from the provider, the service may simply not be offered. Most DSL lines offer a dedicated bandwidth, so you're not sharing bandwidth with anyone else in your neighborhood. Some things to consider when choosing an ISP. First, you want to research what is available. Most areas have one or more cable companies available and one or more DSL companies available, but some areas may only have one choice. You want to consider how much speed do you really need. A small network with just a few PCs that are doing basic internet browsing and sending and receiving a small amount of email really don't need a whole lot of bandwidth. The need for bandwidth increases significantly if you would like to stream music or stream video, but if that's not one of your priorities, you probably don't need the top speeds. Most providers offer multiple speeds and make it fairly easy to increase or decrease the offering you're getting. So you could start out at some middle tier, and if you find you're not getting enough bandwidth, you could increase. Or if you find you're getting more than you need, you could possibly decrease and save some money. You need to think about the reliability and ask some questions about the reliability before you sign up with a provider. Ask them historically what has been their uptime over the past few months, and also do they offer any sort of guarantee going forward. Some providers will offer a discount or a rebate if there is a problem with their service for an extended period of time. And you'll also want to think about what level of customer service you're going to get. Again, this is something that's difficult to know ahead of time unless you have a previous relationship with this company. So if you buy internet access from the same company you get your cable service from, you will probably receive about the same level of customer service on your internet access that you have been receiving on your cable service. So you want to think about whether or not you're happy with that level of service.